Hello, and welcome to this month's WorkRite webinar. I'm Chris Jones, Technical Director at Posturite, and I have with me my usual dynamic duo, Ellie Hale, who will be expertly guiding us through our accident management system, including some interesting scenarios that the system is being used by some of our clients. Hello, Ellie, how are you?
I'm very well, Chris. How are you?
Good, yeah, really well, thanks.
Good stuff. Thanks for tuning in today, guys. We've already done a webinar on AMS, Accident Management System. So this time I wanted to briefly take you through what the system does, but more importantly, talk to you about the flexibility of this as a system. So when you decide to purchase it, we go through an involved implementation process to make sure that you've got a system that is the right fit for you. So I'm logged in at the moment on our home page, and I'm logged in as an administrator. So end users, your staff, they would be able to report an incident and view incidents that they'd reported, or those that they were perhaps responsible for and needed to investigate further. So the history of our AMS system, it was built for a police force, our AMS version 1, because they needed a system that could allow them to record riddles. And from them, we expanded it to make it more flexible. So I'm going to take you through to reporting an incident. We have actually another police force that uses it, and they've got heavily customized question sets to suit their internal procedures. So each level is designed to give the best reporting. And when we go through the implementation process with you, we would talk to you about what information do you want to be able to pull out. So for this particular police force, accidents are split between injuries and near misses. And then those two threads have extensive options beneath them. So an injury could be anything from a trip to being bitten. And then the geographical information of those incidents is also gathered on multiple levels. So the division that the particular police person was from, the region and the location.
So, Ellie, can that then be used in when you're reporting on it? I presume that's part of the point of it.
Absolutely. So the way that they set it up contributes to a powerful reporting tool. So they can establish trends across multiple levels, and that can be on a monthly or quarterly basis. So this particular police force uses it to discover whether they've got particular hotspots for specific types of incident. And they've also got a bespoke feature where the person reporting an incident is asked for the consent that a copy of that report will then be automatically forwarded to their union rep. So if that consent is given, the system will automatically copy them in, which is quite handy. So I'm just going to, quickly show you how a incident or accident gets reported. I'm just going to show you this little question mark. So when you think about your staff that are going to be reporting perhaps an accident, it goes into detail. So what does that incident with injury mean? It's an incident resulting in a major injury or death. They're reportable to the health and safety executive under a riddle. So it's just really simple to use. So I'm going to go to this incident with injury. So I'm logged in as Mr. Admin account. So it's recognized me from that I've already been logged onto the WorkRite system. I'm just going to add some details, my contact number, type of business, software, and I'm going to go on to next. I'm going to record the date and time of the injury. What's the date today?
It's the 15th, Ellie, July.
The 15th, and I'm going to say that it happened at 12 p.m. And then where the location of the incident. So we've got a council that uses us, and they've got 13 locations. So their objective was to have one point of contact for each of those locations, a first aider representative. So that one person is responsible for the investigation. So they've got a central way again of running that trend analysis. But I mean, this can be completely customizable and configurable. So I'm going to say it happened in the warehouse.
So, Ellie, what if we had, I don't know, 200 or 300 locations instead? How does that work? Is there then a autocomplete or a drop down or something like that?
Yes, there is. It's all about making. Well, we've got some of our clients have got perhaps 25 different options because that's the kind of report that they wanted to be able to get from us. So there's lots of different options. In which department was it? It was the warehouse. Oh, and then it's going to go on to the person involved. Also, just going back to the type of incident that we've got, we work with a major film company, and they use AMS to gather incident reporting of a real specific nature because it's a film company. It's a specialised environment that their staff work in. The standard AMS reporting had to be really heavily customised. So, for example, incidents with injuries or near misses are grouped using bespoke categories such as hit by flying object or fall from scenery, along with more standard manual handling and slips, trips, and falls. And then they use the reporting to establish trends and then specific safety areas that need to be addressed, which is great. So who is the person that's involved? It's an employee. The title, Chris, we're going to pop you in here.
I'm quite prone to accidents.
I'm not going to put your home address though. Age, what is it?
33, I think. Yes, 33.
And you are a male, and your title is manager. Next. Okay, and then we're going to go on to the injury description. What do you reckon happened to you, Chris?
We could go for an amputation if you like.
Okay.
I do most of my limbs, I think.
Crikey, which part of the body was it?
Let's go for my foot.
Yeah,
my left one, that's fine. I'm right-footed.
Okay, type of injury. It was an injury, a major injury. It's not a fatality yet. So we're going to click on this one. Date of commencement from work is today. I reckon you became unconscious from that.
Yeah, I'd imagine so.
We're going to go on to next. And then it goes into further detail about the accident. And again, you can give as much advice here, select the best description of what happened, but you can go into as much detail as you want to help your staff and to direct your staff in a particular way. So how did you lose your leg? I reckon you were injured by an animal.
Yeah.
And again, a free text box here, again, so you can go into as much detail as you can. The detail and the advice, again, that you give your end user is completely customizable and dependent on that type of information that you want to be able to pull out.
On that particular occasion, I think I was wrestling with a crocodile, Ellie.
I was going for stray lion, but that's fine. Wrestling a croc.
I did win, by the way, despite my loss of foot.
Amazing. Okay, so we're now on to the summary of the incident that we have just reported on. You can see the reference number here, the date and time. At the moment, the status is just entered, so nothing's happened yet. You can see my details as Mr. Admin account, then the details of the incident. You were wrestling a crocodile in the warehouse, Chris. You should have known better. And then you can see Chris's details here and the details about the injury. And here you can see just down here, incident history. So you can see that will start building the more information that you put in. So when you then allocate an action to somebody and they enter the system and start entering more details, Chris has obviously gone to hospital now with his amputated left foot. So when you find out his return to work date, which you're pretty healthy, it'll probably be the next day, knowing you.
Yeah, or the afternoon. By the afternoon, I'll be back, I'm sure.
Soldier on, absolutely. So you can allocate the incident for investigation to anybody within the organisation, dependent on location perhaps, or what resources that you may have, perhaps where your first aiders are. I wanted to point out that we've got a university that we work with AMS, and they had the need to record incidents and accidents, but also security issues over a multiple of sites, and also first aid incidents. And they also wanted a way of recording it when it was an accident. Say if somebody was injured on the way to work, as well. They wanted to make sure that their data was clear and uncorrupted by incidents that were really just an application of first aid. That's just showing you again how flexible it is, that you can log onto the system, be able to say, is it an accident or an incident, or is it a security incident, and then the information will be divvied up. So here we go. I'm happy with this. I declare that to the best of my knowledge and belief all the information is correct and true, and then I can allocate it to somebody else within the organization. Because this is just our dummy data site, it's another admin account. So confirm and notify. There we go. So it's going to thank me for reporting my incident in the category of incident with injury and give me my reference. It's telling me that the details of this incident have been emailed to the manager under whose responsibility this incident falls, and then tells me who said manager is. Please click the button below to return to the main menu or view the summary by clicking the summary detail. So I'm going to go back to the main menu. Now I want to view the instance. And you can see all of the incidents, the dates that they've been reported, who they were reported by, who they were allocated to, and the status of it. You can see that some have perhaps just been entered and not completed yet. Perhaps the person reporting said incident got called away. As an administrator, I would still get notification that somebody had started recording something, allowing me to follow up on that.
It's worth noting we also have alerts, so for certain criteria, it might be if an incident's been left open for too long, we can actually alert various people, either a line manager or the person responsible for a location, if something's been left open for too long.
That is worth noting. So here I am. I'm viewing the incident now. This section is uneditable here because it's obviously been recorded. It's been reported. But I can fill in more information, such as finding out Chris's return to work date, and then again it would be building in that here, that incident history would be building up. You could also say it had been. I'm looking at it because it had been allocated to me, but I look at it and think, hang on, Chris is not my responsibility. Really, it should go to John, manager of the warehouse, because that's where the crocodile was released. You can then reallocate it to somebody else within the organization, and also able to upload documents up here as well. So if there were some photographs of the croc, the incident, the amputated foot, doctor's notes, whatever that's going to help you build up your case. You can also create an action plan as well at this stage and start the investigation. I had a chat to Robin Spencer at QBE, who was telling me the history of how they use AMS. So they've got an integrated, fully managed service from WorkRite, and they use AssessRite, our DSE course as well. So they've got 3,000 staff over 12 locations. Robin told me that our AMS offers a step-by-step guide for people that haven't been trained to use it. As I showed you with the question marks, it's simple to report an accident or incident, and Robin gets an alert the minute somebody starts to report an incident, meaning, as I said before, that if somebody doesn't complete it, he's still able to chase and follow up. At QBE, it's the first aiders that are most competent to use the system and tend to be reporting the incidents, and investigations are conducted by Robin through the system. He found it simple and much more thorough than other systems that he'd looked at, and it's very user-friendly. All QPE staff use WorkRite for the DSE, and I think this is really key for those of our customers that are listening that already have WorkRite perhaps but don't have AMS, is that the staff responded really well to using AMS and reporting incidents because the system is a familiar format. It works brilliantly at capturing data, and staff aren't limited to the amount of detail they can go into with a more standard manual accident book, say. The key thing for Robin was that he gets to see incidents the minute they're reported. It gives him a live feed, allowing him to approach the person affected and show care, ask more questions if is needed, and ensure that a follow-up is prompt. QBE have an agile working environment, and AMS assists with a uniformed approach, a complete audit trail, and ensures that there are checks and balances in the reporting process. I'm now going to just have a little look at administration. This is just allowing you to kind of manage the functionality of it. I'm going to show you list management. Here you go. So you can see the lists here. Let's have a look at incident. So if you wanted to add an item here, say there was something that you thought might be useful, you can add another list. You can change the system a little bit here at this point. Now I'm going to show you the reporting function. So we've reported an incident, we've viewed the incident, we've shown you that you can also do some level of administration yourselves with the WorkRite AMS system. And now I'm going to show you the reports. So we've got the query analyzer and the report designer. I'm going to show you the query analyzer. So this is just allowing you to drill down on a specific time frame, say, or location or person. I met with a college that's due to get AMS a while ago, and they were saying that they'd had an incident that an ex staff member was seeking compensation for, was taking legal action, and the health and safety manager there told me that it had taken days of trawling through old accident books over years to try and find this specific incident, whereas here you would just be able to look at the particular incident type, look at who'd reported it. I'm just going to go with anyone who was allocated to anyone, and status. I'm going to go the ones that have been confirmed, and then a particular date range as well. I'm going to go way back into time. And then from today, I can add more filters if I need to, but for the purposes of this. And there we go. We've got all of these incidents with injuries from that specific time frame. And here you're able to export this information to Excel as well. I'll just show you. It's taking a while.
And always the way when you're live, Ellie. Always the way.
The perils. Thank God there aren't any crocodiles about, eh? Anywho, so that would have shown you how it would pop up in the Excel format. Oh, there we go. And I'd just given up hope. Here we are. And then you can manipulate that data however you see fit. Here we go. And then just lastly, the report designer. Again, this is just allowing you to build up information that you need. So say which department is interesting to you, where the incident occurred, a whole number of things. Let me just click randomly. And then you can run the report. So there we go. That's allowing you to actually build the types of reports that you need. Again, in the implementation process, we can build certain reports that will already be there for you. And I'm just going to go back to the main menu. I also spoke to Royal Sun Alliance, and they told me that they were using a paper-based system before and had actually developed their own online system, which never properly replaced the accident books. Staff used to blame IT issues for failure to report incidents and always would revert to the old accident books. Tony has a corporate risk register, and there was no fully centralized database for accidents and incidents. It was really important that he had accurate information as RSA is an insurance company. He realized that the process was wrong and went to market. As RSA is regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority, they needed a partner that they could trust and meet the FCA guidelines and security requirements, which I'm pleased to say that we did. Tony thinks that our AMS is very simple, telling staff at each stage how to report and investigate. The AMS system is featured on their intranet. So for the end user, it's just a seamless process. All staff have access, and in the future, it's something that may be rolled out globally. Tony said that he has to report to a quarterly health and safety forum with trade union reps. So Tony's quickly able to go to WorkRite, pull all the data off or specific information that's required for that forum, print spreadsheets, and then they're available to be discussed, to be looked at during the forum. It's easy to be notified of accidents, and you can print a PDF, attach it to an email, and send to a union rep. He can also check on mobile devices, and there's no risk of software failure as it was when they developed their own in-house system. His quote was, "With our AMS, you can just pick up and play." Chris, you had some things that you wanted to add as well, didn't you?
Cool, Ellie, you've given me the floor. Well, I think there was, I think when we talked about doing this webinar, I think one of the things that we really wanted to stress was actually it's not just a one-size-fits-all solution. And actually, MS, the beauty of it is, despite it being very simple to use and actually very simple to operate, actually it's quite dynamic in what you can do with it. And not all, but a lot of customers come to us and actually say, well, this fits us, however, we'd like it to also do this to fit in with our current process or regulatory requirements or other things that they might have. So I thought I'd just go through a few odd and curious examples of ways that people have used the system. And some of these really are out of the box and require configuration more than anything else, as opposed to real hardcore bespoke work. So one particular individual wanted to check all incidents before submission, so actually having a block in place. So before the user could actually report the incident, it actually goes somewhere else first into a pending state, which is actually
for clarification.
Exactly, and actually that's quite useful, particularly if, as these things do, they get audited. Actually, it's important that all the information is correct, relevant, and all the appropriate evidence has been gathered. And so rather than just saying Chris got eaten by a crocodile, it might be that you need a little bit more detail than that in order to be able to react to it. So it gives someone who has got either experience or qualification to go, well, Ellie, thanks for reporting that. It was a crocodile, but what type of crocodile was it, and how big was he, and was Chris wearing protective shoes at the time, and that sort of stuff, which would be very important should that situation occur.
I don't think you were wearing protective shoes.
Well, it's gone now anyway. I've lost the evidence. So. So there's also quite a lot of different special question types. So depending upon what sort of information you're trying to gather. So location might be something that varies depending upon the number of locations that we talked about earlier. If you've only got 5 to 10, it might be a drop down or some radio buttons. However, if you've got a few thousand or tens of thousands, then actually what you might do is have an autocomplete box or something similar. Or you go, well, actually, it's the location because it changes the whole time. Really would want to collect that information by hand and get the user to write down the address, just because it could happen anywhere. So a police force might be a good example, or a council where they deal with the public, and so actually it could be anywhere within the county or wherever they work. So it's very, very configurable. The police force that you mentioned earlier, as well as the sort of special reporting requirements, they actually wanted some very peculiar, or not peculiar, that's the wrong word to use, but bespoke and specialised, specific charts and graphs on their report, which we hadn't done previously within our standard set of reports. So we've actually got a bespoke suite of charts that appear that change dynamically depending upon how you filter the graph down or filter the data down as you click on various bits. Those charts change. It was a bespoke requirement. And then also, it was just really to say that it's not just limited to reporting incidents or accidents as such. And we've got a number of people using it for different ways. You talked about security incidents earlier. That's a common use of AMS, but also people use it for quality control incidents. So when there's a problem with product manufacturer and there's an incident, they can record it like that and report on it and create an action plan. And in fact, when we were developing it, because we knew this needed to be very dynamic, very flexible, our lead developer actually decided that rather than doing things like accidents and those sort of things, he actually used pizzas as his example. So he built the system by ordering margaritas and Hawaiians, and his whole question set was on what toppings, when it needed to be delivered, where it was delivered to, which was quite interesting at the investigation stage, and having a real dissection of the event afterwards. But it was really just to demonstrate to ourselves while we were developing it that it didn't have to be accidents. It was actually any event that took place as opposed to any accidents. So yeah, I think that was kind of what I wanted to add.
Brilliant. I'm going to have pizza later. Exciting. As always, guys, if you are interested in seeing a more detailed demonstration or have a chat about what you're currently doing and how WorkRite and AMS can help you, do get in contact with us.
Super, excellent, Ellie. Thank you very much. Have a great weekend, and I hope everyone listening today does so too. And we will see you next month.
Bye.